Well, the weekend has begun, but we do not end things here. Now, New Japan has just begun their annual round robin tournament, the G1 Climax 35. So, as you know, we are now in the first opening stages of the tournament. Now, I will give a brief description on what the tournament's all about. Those who are new to this channel, and explain what exactly it's meant for, how does the winning process happen, because this is not, of course, elimination tournament. And then, of course, we move on finally with our last review, which is, of course, AEW Collision. As you know, we're still coming off after All In Texas. So a lot of things could happen before anything else because we're probably going to be expecting more battle lines drawn for future matches, future title matches, and whatnot. And then, of course, as always, we will cap up our episode as usual with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, when matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of the reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the yapping, let's get cracking. So, let's begin with our first review, and this is from New Japan with Day 1 of the G1 Climax. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling, the G1 Climax 35. Now, for those who are new to the channel or those who have not been following New Japan, let me give you guys a brief description what this tournament is. This is a round robin tournament, not elimination tournament, whereas of course you win a match and you proceed. No. This one is, of course, where you have to pick up points in order to proceed on to the finals. Now, the way it works, of course, you have to gain 2 points in order to win. However, if you lose a match, you get 0. But in the situation of a time limit draw, you get 1 point each. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to getting closer and closer towards the end, it gets a little bit tricky with the calculation of the points. With certain wrestlers, of course, they have to be eliminated for this other person to win, or if this person who's on the verge of winning and he needs this other person to defeat him, that sort of thing. So we will get closer and closer to that once through the entire tournament. Now, many of you may ask, of course, how do you win this tournament? Well, this tournament you have to win, of course, the chance for a shot of the IWGP World Heavyweight title, currently in possession by Zack Sabre Jr. And this title normally happens at the start of the year in 2026, which is Wrestle Kingdom, which happens on January 4th. Now, last year it did not happen with Zack Sabre Jr. winning the G1. He actually, of course, won it, but he never actually cashed in his opportunity. It happened like earlier, I think, in King of Pro Wrestling, which is one of their bigger events in Ryogoku. So that kind of sets it up. Now we already have the blocks and everything set up. Now our first match is part of the B block. We have Yoshihashi versus Shingo Tagaki. Now, of course, many people would probably say Shingo has this in the bag, has been one of the most strongest competitors in New Japan. I mean, there is no denying about the strength and powerness of Shingo Tagaki. But Yoshihashi, to me, has always been the underdog of the entire New Japan roster. I mean, no one would have imagined ever since he won his first championship match, which was the never openweight six-man tag team titles, and not to mention him and Hiroki Goto winning the tag belts. And now he's stepping up in hopes that maybe his friend and tag partner Hiroki Goto is watching him, seeing that I'll make you proud by winning this tournament. But it was surprisingly how he won, because Yoshihashi picked up the win by applying a crucifix, giving himself his first 2 points. So this is a very upset right now. So Shingo lost in this match. Now we jump into A block. We have Cal Newman of the United Empire taking on the scumbag of the earth, Evil of the House of Torture. Now he did not come alone. He had that idiot Dick Togo, and of course Bullet Club's turncoat Balak Fale, or should we known as Don Fale. Now, of course, Evil, like I said, guys, he is the scum of the earth. He'll do whatever it takes to win. He'll cheat because he thinks he's better. Bullshit. No, Evil, you're just a loser. That's what you are. You're a loser. And that's exactly what he did. He used Fale to do his bidding, and of course, Dick was involved. Until, of course, Evil applied the sharpshooter, getting his 2 points. I just effing hope he does not win this tournament, because that's the last thing New Japan needs. Now we jump. Oh yeah, and of course Evil got his first 2 points. Damn it. Now we jump back to the A block. We have Drilla Maloney taking on Great-O-Khan. Now, for those who know this, Drilla Maloney has been a very interesting wrestler who, as you know, in the beginning, since joining the New Japan roster, he was part of the junior heavyweight competition. However, now he's shift change to heavyweight. Many of you who are new in the channel probably ask me, is that even possible? Yes, there have been wrestlers in the past who went through that. Shingo Takagi was one of them. So is, of course, the aerial assassin Will Ospreay. So Drilla Maloney has been very impressive throughout the entirety of the match. Great-O-Khan seems like he had this one under control, but unfortunately Maloney was able to overturn it and pulled out the Drilla Killer, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So Drilla Maloney gets his first 2 points on his debut in the G1. Now we jump back to A block. We have Yuya Uemura versus Boltin Oleg. So this is a very interesting match. Now these two guys have been very phenomenal in their respective ways, not to mention part of Huntai, and not to mention Boltin Oleg is the never openweight champion. So this could have maybe certain title implications if that ever came around, because Boltin Oleg almost had this match in the bag when he was about to apply the kamikaze, but Yuya Uemura was able to overturn it into the deadbolt suplex, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he gets his first 2 points. Now, he did pin, of course, the never openweight champion. He could possibly challenge for this belt in future reference. We just will stay close to that if that ever happened. Now we jump back to the A block. We have Shota Umino versus El Fantasma. Now, these two guys are really good friends, not to mention they help each other out when they were dealing with their own mess they've been through in that sort. But I have to say, they did not hold any punches. I mean, many people would say they definitely would hold it. No. They know what's at stake. They want to proceed in hopes to get a shot at the IWGP World Heavyweight title. But in the end, it was Shota Umino with the second chapter, which is the Brainbuster. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, he gets his first 2 points. Now we jump back to A block where you have Rohei Oiwa versus who is David Finlay. Now, of course, David Finlay has been one of the most dangerous wrestlers. He's not been in the right state ever since, of course, with the House of Torture getting into his mind. So you would think that he would have this one in the bag. No, Rohei Oiwa was able to apply the grit onto him, which is a spinning disc lariat, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now we jump back to A block. We have Konosuke Takeshita versus Gabe Kidd. Now, of course, many people would assume Gabe Kidd, who was the fan favorite in this match, would have picked up the win, and that's something we would have expected. No, Konosuke Takeshita showed what he is made of. He criticized Gabe Kidd. I'm not the guy who is going out loving New Japan, but I love pro wrestling in general, and of course, that's always been the case. However, it was what was his name? Takeshita with a chokehold onto Gabe Kidd, and the ref had to call this match. It was over right from there, so he called it. Now we jump back, of course, with A block. We have Sanada versus Yoda. Now these two guys are no strangers with each other. If you guys remember, Yoda made his re-entry back to New Japan and aimed Sanada for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. Now this is a very interesting match. Sanada has defeated him once before, but will Yoda pull it off? I have to say he did when he applied, of course, the Gene Blaster, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now we jump back to our A block, then B block. We have Ren Narita versus Zack Sabre Jr. Now, as you all know, Ren Narita is a member of the House of Losers. Yes, of course, there's the possibility of cheating. But one thing it was interesting is that he was being a bit methodical about aiming for the knee of Zack Sabre Jr. But of course, this idiot was going to low blow, of course, Zack Sabre Jr. No secret. And I'm sure he's laughing his ass off. And I hope one day someone kicked him in the arse. But, of course, what was it? He applied a Hell's Guillotine on him, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. But here's the interesting thing. Ren Narita pinned Zack Sabre Jr., our current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. If he's unable to win the tournament, he can catch an opportunity for a shot of that title. So that could happen. Now, our main event, we have Taichi versus Tanahashi. I have to say, awesome match. I loved it. It was pretty good from what we expect. But those who remember, in the start of 2026, Tanahashi will be officially retiring, and this will be in the tournament. The G1 is his final one, so it's sad that he has to go, but nothing lasts forever. But in the end, it was Tanahashi with the high fly flow that allowed him to pick up the win, and just like that, 1, 2, 3. Then, of course, he did his post-match promo as usual, while what's his name, Taichi, was led back to the back. So I'm sure he enjoyed the entire match, and hopefully we see great things coming from. So as of right now, we are officially done with New Japan. Let's move on with our last and final review, and I believe that is, of course, AEW Collision. Okay, AEW Collision. Now, as you know, we are still coming off after, of course, 8 All In Texas. Anything can happen. Now, we opened up, of course, with Dustin Rhodes. As you know, he won, of course, the TNT Championship at All In, defeating, of course, Daniel Bryanson, Kyle Fletcher, and Sammy Guevara. And, of course, he did say that he reached out to the heavens saying, "Hey, Dad, I wish you could be here with me." Which, of course, it's a most beautiful moment, of course, him being a second generation wrestler. And then, of course, he talked about, keep stepping, something that his dad, who in life lessons taught him things. And of course, there's that. And then he declared himself as the face of TNT. However, of course, Kyle Fletcher, it decides to cry like a little big baby because he felt that this was stolen from him. I mean, yeah, I get that, but he didn't get the job done. So that sort of thing. And not to mention, Dustin mentioned the times he had challenged for this belt. One against, of course, the late Brody Lee, Lance Archer, Sammy Guevara, and I forgot who else, and he failed. And now he won this opportunity. And of course, Kyle Fletcher was demanding this match to happen, but Fletcher, let's just say he let his little ego get in the way, and just like that, Fletcher just ran. Now, our next match, we have Ricochet versus AR Fox. Now, AR Fox has been looking forward to get a bit of a measure revenge for what happened last time when Ricochet, as you know, picked him as his tag partner and left him high and dry until Fox tried to confront him, but he was in fact beaten up by the Gates of Agony. However, of course, you know the Gates of Agony, since now they started a relationship with Ricochet, it was going to be a problem. And of course, the moment that had happened is when AR Fox applied a 450 splash. He missed, and then the Spirit Gun was in place, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, of course, the commentators, Tony Schiavone, Nigel McGuinness, and Colt Cabana, were just enjoying their time talking about the brand new AEW World Champion until Marina Shafir choked out Colt Cabana, tried to take him out. Of course, many people would say, why? Well, Colt Cabana, if you all know, they were in Chicago, and it's no secret about Colt Cabana's, love for the city, and of course, sending a direct message to Hangman. I'm sure that John Moxley is determined to have a rematch to reclaim this title that he felt was stolen, but we'll see how that goes from there. Now, we did see, of course, Alex Lanier conduct an interview with Chris Statlander talking about the recent losses. Of course, the Casino Battle Royale and a few other matches. And then, of course, the Death Riders were in the way. And then, of course, Wheeler Yuta kind of gave her the idea of saying that she needs to bounce back. And that's exactly what she's going to do. Now, our next match, we have Megan Bayne versus Ty Mello. Now, there was an exclusive interview before this match where, of course, there were no seconds in ringside. So, apparently before was not there. Neither was Anna Jay or, of course, Hardy Cameron. But I have to say, Ty Mello was really amazing. I mean, she took out someone who is someone not easy to take down. And that's exactly what happened. But, however, it was just way too much for Ty Mello to take her out until Megan Bayne applied a running power bomb, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, of course, we did see a bit of a video promo from Skyflight team until they were interrupted. Don Callis, as you know, Don Callis has been determined to recruit more people, but Christopher Daniels like, ain't gonna happen on my watch. So we'll see where that goes. Now, Tel Valkyrie versus Alex Windsor. Many of you may know Alex Windsor is the newest addition in AEW and making her Collision debut. However, many of you may not know this in her personal life. She is the fiance of Will Ospreay and the late widow of Ryan Smiley, who used to be friends with, who was the late friend, the best friend of Will Ospreay as well. So Alex was making her presence known. As you all know, she just had her last match with Eve, and now she is moving here. And of course, Tel Valkyrie was going to try to pick up a win, but nope. It was Alex Windsor with the sharpshooter, and just like that was over. But however, Athena, as you know, could not take the fact that this happened. Is like saying, this is my time. As you know, she is still aiming for the AEW Women's World title. So Tony Storm decided to show up and decided to take the fight to her. So you know how that turned out, but Athena ran with her legs in between her, with her tail between her legs. Now, Lex Lanier had a talk with Anthony Bowens, and of course, as you know, Anthony Bowens has not been in a good winning streak season. So, however, it seems that Billy Gunn had something in mind. We just don't know what it is, but we'll see. Now, we did see a $200,000 four-way tag team match. We have, of course, Brian Keith and Big Bill versus the Crew, Action Andretti and Leo Rush versus the Gates of Agony versus the Guns, Colt and Austin Gunn. When it comes to four ways, anything can go. However, we did see Ricochet gave a helping hand to the Gates of Agony until they applied the Open the Gates on Action Andretti, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Gates of Agony won this match. Then we see an open challenge with Max Caster. Well, the challenger was none other than Kyle O'Reilly, and well, you probably can guess how that ends. Then we see a video promo with Juice Robinson talking about Ricochet costing the match, and then Big Bill got in his face. So sooner or later, those two will come across each other. Now, our next match, we see Rush versus Katsuyori Shibata. I have to say, it was a hard, full match. Not to mention, Shibata was not holding any punches. But in the end, Rush picked up the win with the bull's horn, and now he seems like him and the rest of La Facción Ingobernable are determined to win the AEW Trios title. So we'll see where that leads us. So we'll pay attention to that. Now, our main event, we have the members of the Don Callis family, Lance Archer, Josh Alexander, Rocky Romero, and Hechi Seto taking on Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and what's his name? Oh yeah, Mike Bailey, Mascara Dorada, and of course Bandito. You know this was going to be a killer match, but one thing was amazing is that leap that, of course, what Kevin and Knight applied, and just like that, of course, we did see a great cohesion between Bandito and Mascara Dorada until Dorada picked up the win with the 450 splat, no, the shooting star press, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So that's pretty much what happened on AEW Collision. So let's move on to some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. This is going to be a very bit of a short one. So we have one update on the upcoming events. As you know, MLW, Major League Wrestling, will have their Fightland event on August 13th, on September 13th, and they announced Templario will be participating, so that's going to be good. On to developments. We did hear that Go Shiozaki, who's been out for quite some time, will be making his return to Pro Wrestling Noah in August. So it's great to hear that he is getting back on track. And then finally, as you all know, Shuri will be taking some time off to get surgery on her left elbow. Well, she just revealed that is already happening. So hopefully she gets a full recovery. So take care of Shuri, and that's pretty much it. So I think that's pretty much it for everything else. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I made a mistake when I thought today we were going to see TNA's Slammiversary. My bad. I forgot that today is the 19th of July. The event is on the 20th, so hopefully I get that one right. So I will get that right as soon as possible. We'll see how things will progress on that. But as of right now, we'll end things here. And until then, I will say this, that I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.